Previously on Into the Motherlands.
Hello, Motherlands family, and welcome to Back to the Motherlands, presented by Dicey Amazons, a quick recap show discussing the development and events of Into the Motherlands campaign, featuring Tanya DePass, Christina Ariel, Michael Sinclair II, DJ Knight, Abria Iyengar, and Storyteller Eugenio Vargas. I'm Candy, executive producer for Dicey Amazons, and one of your hosts.
And I'm your other host, Pi, head producer of Dicey Amazons. So let's jump on into Season 3, Episode 2, which I would officially like to dub the soap opera episode. So during this celebration, they're having their tiny sandwiches and their little drinks or whatever, and Sila announces to the rest of the crew that the paperwork has been signed, sealed, and delivered, and now we will refer to Sila as Vice Admiral. Sila 919. And I would like to know where all these promotions are coming from. I'm just curious.
I know.
Vice Admiral Sila 919 gives a sandwich to Invicta and says, hopefully you don't mind that a disposable android made this for you. And the robot audacity. That was that hurt me. I mean, I get it. Hurt people, you know?
Yeah.
Hurt droids, hurt people, and hurt Invictas, hurt droids. You know, everyone's hurting everyone in this episode, and I feel like we all need a hug and maybe some apple juice.
Can I just take a moment here? Because Invicta was not happy with that. Mm-mm. She was like, no. Mm-mm. And she threw the sandwich back to the back of Vice Admiral Sila 919's head.
After she just got the promotion.
Let me take a second here. I'm gonna have to let me switch on over because the facial reactions
yes.
of the cast.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna switch over real quick. And this is
I'll pull it up
right after the sandwich was thrown.
Look at Tanya's face. There's Tanya's a little bit of like, I did that on her face.
Right.
You know?
It's like, oop, okay.
Mm-hmm. Everyone else is like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, the whole bottom row had me cracking up. And Christina's face. Ooh.
I was just about to say, oh my gosh.
The screenshot had me just dying. I swear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Classic.
All right, so moving back. So after this happens, Invicta decides she storms off. She just leaves, and then we get to kind of see, you know, the rest of the crew take in kind of what just happened. But we do. They actually are eating their little tiny sandwiches, and Ikemba notices that Koseh is like kind of staring at him quizzically, right? And so once he mentions something, she asks him why he hesitated to do his job in healing Bertrand. But Ikemba, like he was really afraid of the weight of losing Bertrand that would kind of have on him, like in the future if Bertrand didn't make it, and so definitely understand, you know, what he was going through at that time and why he hesitated. But Koseh, who doesn't quite understand his reasoning, but she does accept it. And so that was just a really like good like short conversation, but just really good to kind of see like both sides. But she does mention that you shouldn't hesitate. Like, it's your job. Like, this is something that you were meant to do, and you need to do it. Vice Admiral Sila 919 decides that she is going to go apologize. I did forget. So Invicta actually does say that she doesn't see Sila 919 as a droid. Like, she sees her as a person and her friend. And so that makes Sila 919 feel bad. And so she actually follows Invicta down the hall, knocks on her door, doesn't get a response, but actually just kind of sits outside her door and apologizes to her. And it was a nice apology. she still doesn't get a response, and so just ends up having to walk off, without any resolution. And as you know, one of her one of her specialties is gift baskets. She goes off to build a gift basket.
I want one of these gift baskets.
I know, right?
Can I buy them online somewhere?
This gift basket is amazing, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, absolutely. So next, Ilay goes to check up on Ikemba, and it's this really sweet bonding moment where like Ilay's like, "Hey, buddy, how you doing? Just checking in on you. Get some rest. You done good. I'll see you later, brother." And so then from there, we like back over on the other side of the ranch. Maria and Deckard are waiting for Ilay in Ilay's quarters, and then there's this like awkward like kind of meeting with Koseh, who now somehow like finagled her way into getting the jaws of life that they used to save Bertrand. So that happened. Yeah. I mean, I get it, but also the look on like Ilay's face when Ilay realized what they said, and like Koseh was like, I heard yes first. Or,
right? That was hilarious.
The look on Michael's face, like, ooh, got me again. Classic. Pretty classic. We go back to Invicta in her room now that Vice Admiral Sila 919 has like taken her leave. Invicta is in her room and she's pouting, and it's giving me literally me in middle school. Like my feelings are hurt. I'm under my pillow and I'm playing Brandy's Never Say Never CD over and over and over again. That's pretty specific because it actually happened.
You're right.
So Invicta is like in her room, she's pouting, and so like Invicta gets she gets like a banging at her door, and Invicta's like, "Look, I don't want to talk to you. Leave me alone." And we get my favorite exchange of this whole episode, which is it's not at Vice Admiral Sila 919 at the door. It's actually Invictus. Big cousin energy comes into the room, rips the covers off of Invicta. They have this beautiful exchange about like hurt feelings and trying to feel better. And so basically Invicta tells Invictus, like, "You're leaving tomorrow. You're staying here tonight. We're going to drink and eat food and talk about memories. And it's going to be a grand old time." So we head to the other side of Torch HQ, not the ship. And Ilay is having a super cute moment, cuddling with their partners, Maria and Deckard. And I'm not gonna lie, now it's a whole episode after like the stunning releasing of the information. I'm okay with it, and I wish them the best of luck, and it's fine. And it was real cute.
Yeah, apparently chat kind of pulled that one out for Ilay.
Yeah.
But Michael did mention one of the things that came from chat was that they were watching Rob Boss painting happy little asteroids or something like that.
Yes.
I was just like, oh, that's so cute.
I would love that.
I love it. It is now canon.
It is now canon. Absolutely. All right, what happened next, Candy?
So we get to the next morning, and Invicta opens her door, and there is a giant gift basket that is outside of her door, and a giant card as well on an easel. And it's basically the apology from Vice Admiral Sila 919. But Invicta hasn't had her coffee yet, so it's not well received. And so she just kind of passes it up. But around the corner comes Invictus with her coffee. Good cousin. And so, he sees that she hasn't bothered with the apology display. And so he grabs the gift basket and takes it in the room. And you kind of hear him in there messing with the cellophane. But, like, trying not to, like, mess it up.
Like, what's this? What's this?
Yeah. So Invicta's still out in the hall, and all of a sudden, a grate from above is removed, and a life-size cardboard cutout of Vice Admiral Sila 919 is lowered from the grate. And it apparently has this button on it that says to push. Invicta still hasn't had much coffee, and so she's like, yeah, I'm not pushing that. But enter big cousin energy. Invictus comes out of the room and was like, oh yeah, no, we're pushing this button. So he pushes the button, and we hear a recorded Silent 919 apology in song. Vice Admiral Silent 919 in song, and it was amazing.
Priceless. I will not repeat the song because I don't want that smoke.
Yeah.
But it was amazing.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And so, and so apparently to hear verse 2, we actually have to push another button. And so Invicta still, it's like, nah, I'm good. But cousin comes right along, and he basically pushes the button and like goes off somewhere. And so we hear verse 2 of this apology. But Invicta has also left. And so there's nobody in the hallway to hear the last half of the second verse. And as it finishes, Vice Admiral Silent 919 like pokes her head out of the vent to an empty hallway, which made me really sad, but
also
you can't force an apology, so or like force someone to accept an apology.
Yeah, you can. Sometimes you just gotta say sorry and go, oh, okay, no one's here. I'm gonna go home now.
Yeah. So a few hours later, the crew is all meets up with Major Rafia and Torch staff. And so they're told that their original contract has been fulfilled. And she offers them a choice of either leaving or extending their contract. So there's a bit of tension in the room. Ikemba actually stands up and very slowly says that he'll be staying because he's having fun. Mm-hmm. And everybody else is silent. So Major Rafia assumes that everybody else is good to go and will be extending their contract. But she continues on with the briefing of the crash site for the Wistful Wish. So then we hear from a few people from Torch. Agent Retz reports that they are not sure of the type of weapon, but based on black box info, they don't believe that the Wistful Wish was the original, was the target. And that the actual beam that tore through the Wistful Wish kept going, and it looks like it hit something else. And Torch really doesn't have a lot of answers, but they have identified a possible communications relay that needs to be investigated. And so Major Rafia says there's two things that need to be done, which one do you want to do? So once the debriefing is done, Silent 919 actually gets a promise from Major Rafia for new contracts, to get raises, to get promotions and things like that, but also tries to get her self-promotion in writing from Major Rafia. That is also where this episode took another turn, as Major Rafia was like, that's just not how things work. We can talk about an appropriate position, but that's just not how things work here.
Yeah.
And Silent 919 actually changes her outfit in the middle of this meeting. Well, as a Matsugane, changes her outfit, not changing, but that includes the ranks or the designations of Vice Admiral to her outfit. I was laughing so hard. Yeah, so it basically ends with the rest of the crew. There's a sort of a light discussion on possible officer ranks, and then some excitement over being able to customize their new ship. So I'm actually really excited for that. I can't wait to see what they come up with for this new ship and a new name. Ooh.
Oh, although I really like the Wishful Wish.
Wishful Wish, yeah, I did too. Yeah. It's a really good name. But it was already named for them, So being able to customize and make their own, I think it's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, I hope that there's another sleepover event where they're decorating their rooms on the new ship.
Ooh, yeah.
I want that. Yeah, sleepover vibes again. That was a really fun episode in season 1.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, season 1.
All in season 1.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Well, that was everything that happened in season 3, episode 2. Thanks for tuning in to Back to the Motherland, and stay tuned for episode 3 coming up right after this, and every Wednesday on twitch.tv/cypherofttier at 4 p.m. Pacific time and 6 p.m. Central time.
All right. And if you want to check out more content from the Dicey Amazons, check us out on twitch.tv/Dicey Amazons. Thank you and enjoy episode 3.
Bye.
Bye.
Centuries ago, the Malian Emperor Mansa Musa sent his best and brightest scholars, explorers, warriors, and artisans across the great Western Ocean to discover new lands. They succeeded in ways no one could imagine. Now, 3,000 years later, their descendants have made a home for themselves on a new planet, and the calls of adventure and discovery are stronger than ever. Join creative director Tanya DePass as Invicta, the High and Old Blade Keeper, DJ Knight as Ikemba, the Musalian Biopriest, Michael Sinclair II as Ilay, the Misajai Lightbringer, Christina Ariel as Sila 919, the Monsagene Biopriest, Abria Iyengar as Koseh, the Hyanol Fixer, and Eugenio Vargas as the Storyteller, as they explore new planets, make new friends, and treat everyone they meet luxuriously. Welcome to the Motherlands.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 3. Oh, y'all, it's already starting. Episode 3 of season 3 of Into the Motherlands. Hi, everybody. I'm Eugenio. I am DM Jazzy Hens. I will be your storyteller this evening, and we are so very glad that you are back with us today. Why don't we, right off the bat, go around and introduce the rest of these lovely faces around me, who will be your players tonight. And this is the season of chaos, so go.
Hello. No, go ahead. You can go. What if we just
with
go
the
at the
start
same
like that?
time?
With the start like that, it's you.
No, it's
You
all
ready?
you. I refuse to. I will go last.
Okay, here we go. Hello, my name is Michael Sinclair II. I play Ilay, the Misajai Lightbringer. Their pronouns are they, them. My pronouns are he, him. And excited for today's game.
I said I'm going last, and I live by that.
All right, then I'll say hi.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Tanya. I'm playing Invicta, your High and Old Blade Keeper. Cypher tier, everyone on the internets, and both Invicta and I are she, her. I'm gonna roll the die if somebody doesn't talk.
Ladies first, and so I'm gonna go second to last since I'm not gonna be able to go last. So,
Ooh. All right.
Hi, my name is Christina Ariel, and I play Silent 919, your Monsagene Biopriest, and yeah, that's fun.
oh hi, I'm DJ Knight. You may know me from places such as Into the Motherlands and other streams such as Cypher Tier Stream when I play Into the Motherlands. I'm playing Ikemba, your Musalian Biopriest. His and my pronouns are he, him. Thank you for tuning in.
And I am Koseh, your Hyanol Fixer.
Yep.
She, her across the board. Begin.
Y'all ever play that game where like you have to count to 20 with a group of people, but like nobody can say the same number?
Yes, I love this improv game.
Yeah, well, that's what it feels like every week. But like
Every time.
so far we haven't quite mastered it, but we got 7 more after this, so we got time. Once again, I'm Eugenio. I use he, him pronouns. I'll be your storyteller this evening for episode 3. All right, we got some thanks to do as usual. We want to thank the folks that help us be here every single week, and that includes the folks over at Die Hard Dice. Very grateful to them. They have created a beautiful set of Musalian Skies Dice, but everything they create is pretty beautiful and dope. So you should go check out all the dice that they have available at dieharddice.com. And when you do, and when you inevitably need to fill your cart with beautiful click-clack math rocks, you should use the code Motherlands RPG at checkout because you'll get 10% off your whole order. So do that and get some dice. Next up, of course, we want to thank Blue Microphones for providing us the equipment to make sure that we sound nice and clear for you all every week. Grateful to them. They have USB mics, XLR mics, and all kinds of other accessories. Check out what they have available for you at bluemic.com. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because there was an explosion of messages in the backstage chat, and I don't know if any of them for me, but I'll look at them later. Next up, we want to thank the folks over at Cortex by Fandom. Our stream is powered by Cortex. We're grateful for that, and we want you. There's that beautiful book that Christina is holding up for us. Every week, we are giving away codes for digital versions of these rule books. so that you can get your hands on the rules that, well, some of the rules that we use. The point is that it's all modular. So get your hands on that. Mods will let you know how to enter those giveaways in chat. And you should also go ahead and follow them on the Twitters. You can follow Fandom at Fandom Tabletop, or if you want specifically all of the deets on Cortex, you can follow Cortex RPG for all of their exciting news. And finally, we of course have to thank Twitch. Into the Motherlands premieres exclusively on Twitch every week, here on Wednesdays at 7 Eastern on Cypher of Tears channel. And we're very grateful for their support for 3 whole seasons so far. So we are grateful to them. Okay, great. That's not today. Now I'm gonna go check this chat. Yes. All right. So we have, I mentioned this last week, but I didn't put too fine a point on it. So I should let y'all know that we do go live a little bit early this season every week, because the amazing folks over at Dicey Amazons do a recap video for us. It's great. They are delightful. You get the recap, you get the feels about the recap, which is sort of why I have it a little unmuted in one ear while we're backstage getting ready. So pop in a little bit early, 15-20 minutes early, if you're available for that full recap. We'll still do shorter recaps here, but if you want the full news, go come in a little bit early and check that out. You all right down there? All right. So what happened last week? Well, the brief idea is that last week we got back to Torch, and returned Bertrand, sent him to medical. He's taken care of. It's going to take a little while to recuperate, but he's doing all right. You all came in and were briefed about the situation. Basically, there are 2 great big threats, and we really know very little about both of them. We got the Hapalocks in the waters, and they are apparently here on Vatoa. Also, we know they're on Hathaway. That's an issue. They're everywhere. We don't know what's going on. But also, we have established, mostly due to the fact that the Hapalocks seem to attack them, that there is a second group, these mysterious machines that you all have been encountering, primarily in Mandira last season, are also at large. We also know next to nothing about them. So it's time to do some investigations. You all were given a choice what you wanted to investigate. Seems like the tentative consensus is to try and find out more about the mysterious machines. I feel like mostly so that I don't have to make those noises that I made in season 1 anymore. And
I
so
just like
that's
robots.
I mean, you do you? I had no idea. And so that is the plan. But first, we have to get these folks a ship because tragically, the wistful wish is scrap. So we have to get the crew a new ship that they will be able to help design. I should say about that, I know we have promised for part of the Kickstarter, for those of you who backed the Kickstarter, there's going to be ships and shipbuilding and all kinds of cool rules for that. This ain't that. That book is being developed. I am very excited about how that is going, but this is not that. Those rules are not fully fleshed out. So when you get your book, don't be surprised if nothing that happens today is in there in any way, shape, or form. Just so y'all know, this is not one of those fun previews. The other thing no, that was the thing. There was some tensions among the crew last week, sort of boiling over from the previous week and all of the stress of everything that's happening, words flying, and we will see how all of this shakes out in today's session. Did I miss anything? Will you all let me know if I missed anything while there's a whole lot of chatter going on down here. I gotta see what's going on. Seems like I did not miss anything.
You did a good job.
Thanks. Oh, I appreciate you. Positive reinforcement is always appreciated.
Can I have a plot point?
Oh, I should remind everyone, thank you for that reminder, that everyone should start every session with at least 1 plot point. So if you used them all in the previous session, refresh yourself to 1. And as much as I want to give you a plot point for saying nice things about me, I feel like that might have the potential to derail the session. So
yes, it would.
Yeah, because there'd be a lot of nice things just showered. It'd be praise Eugenio for a good amount of time, which I mean, we could always support. That's not a problem. But like, plot points though.
Plot points. Well, look, I will be on the lookout. I am inspired by, I have to say, of all of this is so off topic. I promise we're gonna play this game real soon, but since we don't have to do a full recap, we got a minute. I have to say, of all of the people that I've ever watched or played with tabletop games, you, Abria Iyengar, are the best at remembering things like inspiration. That's right, I'm talking to you. You were giving out inspiration at the best moments throughout EXU, so I'm gonna be better about plot points for you all. That's my promise.
Oh my
today.
god, thanks.
You're
Was
so
it
welcome. Let's
compliment
play. What?
Is it compliment time?
No,
Yes.
I will give them for good role play, for making me, well, not making me laugh. I laugh at anything, but we
I'll
should
throw it
play
out
into
there,
the
man.
Motherlands.
Let's
Let's
play
tell
a
a
game.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's,
All right.
let's tell a
So,
story, but also let's appreciate the fact that Eugenio is such an amazing storyteller. Like, I
Oh.
feel like in chat,
Absolutely.
I'm
Yeah,
not the
I'ma
only
take 'em.
person who's
Cosign.
experienced it
Take
where
'em.
like your descriptions are
oh,
like,
fine. You can
literally
all have
way
two
better than
plot
anything I
points
could ever
today.
put out there. Like, nah, I don't want the plot points. I just wanted to put it out there since it was compliment
thanks,
time. I
DJ.
just
So
wanted
can
to
I have
compliment
DJs if he
Eugenio
doesn't
here.
want them?
I mean,
Thank
if
you.
you want it,
Thank you,
take it
DJ.
and then go for it. But seriously,
Thank you, DJ. I do
every
appreciate
time,
that.
every time.
I do. All right, let's play some Motherlands. Let's tell some stories. So where we left off, you all were heading. You had Rafia had sort of given up and said, "You know what? Let's get toys. Let's get you all a ship," and began leading you all out of the meeting room. Invicta took off in a different direction to have some time to herself. And the rest of the heads of departments and such that had been in there on that briefing with you all dispersed as well. So you all are headed. You are following Rafia, and Rafia takes the four of you down several hallways, down several quarters, and way up to the very top of the torch tower. And there is a little room sort of on one side of the penthouse of Torch, I don't know, that has a lot of security to get into. Most of Torch, there's security to get in the building, but for the most part, you all have your clearances, you know where you go, and there's not a ton of ID confirmation before you go in. But Major Rafia explains to you all that the tech in this room is very delicate and very expensive. And so there's some, it isn't just used all the time. And she lets you all in, she does a few scans, she confirms her rank and her position, and she lets you all in to a big empty room. There is a glass ceiling, so you can see the Vitoan sky above you. But other than that, it's just a big, empty, sort of metal enclosed room. And once you've all filed in, she looks behind you and she says, "Oh, my apologies. I thought Dr. Niero was following us. I will see if I can find him. Wait here. Try not to break anything." And the major heads outside and gets on her comms to try and find Dr. Dr. Niero. We zoom in lower down in the torch tower, and we find Dr. Niero, who has noticed. He was following you all for a time, but sort of took a head count and noticed that one of the number was missing, and that it happened to be the one among you who was a former student of his. So he has gone in search of Invicta, and it takes him a few minutes because it's for his own reasons that have nothing to do with Invicta. Thinking of this particular place is the last place he would have gone. Invicta, where does Dr. Niero finally find you?
He finds Invicta in kind of like the lounge bar area of Torch HQ.
Heck yes, there's definitely a canteen. Absolutely.
And it's flipped over because I'm guessing it's later in the day or whatever day-night cycle we have on this planet. One day we'll figure it out.
One day we'll decide.
And she's got like her whiskey and a plate of like raw, basically Vitoan ceviche.
Ooh.
And is in a booth, kind of like sitting there with her whiskey and her meat platter. I didn't think that far ahead of what she would eat.
Seafood, we'll call it seafood platter.
Sure.
I love it. Yeah, and Dr. Niero finds you there and walks over and without much preamble sits down with you, and you can hear him sort of muttering to himself, I should have, but this is what most people do when they're kind of upset. I don't know why I didn't. Anyway, hi, Invicta.
Hi, Doctor.
How are you, Invicta?
Eh,
Yeah. You know, we're building a new ship for you. Sort of.
sort of.
Well, I mean, we have to make plans and blueprints, and I really have to make sure that the ratio of the modules that you'd like included in the new ship are capable of both suborbital, rather atmospheric flight, as well as space flight, and then of course you all are going to be doing distance. I'm talking again. Apologies. Yes, we will be planning your new ship today. But I noticed you weren't with the crew.
No.
Do you want to talk about it?
The details, no.
I know I haven't seen you in a while, and I have never been the best at advising on social things, but I have seen this face before, and he sort of indicates your face, not his own. He's seen his own too. And he says, so if you don't mind, I'll make some guesses and some assumptions and some educated inferences based on what I know of you and the rest of the crew, and that's quite a bit. Torch knows a lot about you five.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
Well, but in this case, I think it will be good because it has allowed me to collect and interpret some data about the five of you, and I'm going to make some guesses. And stop me if it's not helpful, which it very well may not be, but you've got a lot of walls, and most of them, hell, all of them, are valuable and important and well earned, I think. I mean, I've got my own walls, I suppose, but I remember you in university. You were determined. You were gonna do the thing no matter what. And the fact that you're here, it tells me that hasn't changed.
Well, I run on spite.
He laughs and says, but you know what else? He says, most people here were like that too, in some way or another. We're going to be here no matter what, and maybe got flack for it from friends, from family, from coworkers, from fellow students. And I think, for what it's worth, going through everybody's files, I think that maybe the fact that you and the rest of your team have all sort of walked your own very unique paths might have something to do with any communications difficulties you all are having. Does that sound so far like I'm at least approaching the situation?
Invicta takes a step and just like, when people are right and you hate to admit it.
Yes, because I do feel like Dr. Nieto also has that a lot. Mostly about engineering, but yes.
Yeah,
and he says, no, it's all right. Believe me, I know. I know the face. It's fine. He says, look, I don't have a ton of friends, and that's okay. I love my work, and this is probably the most social interaction I've had in longer than we need to discuss right now. And that's okay. I'm fine with that. I love my work here. I'm happy. But I think that you have the ability to decide how you want to deal with whatever's happening. And it can be as simple as what I've done for so long, which is, you don't have to be social with everyone that you work with. You don't have to love everyone that you work with. But for what it is worth, objectively, and that's sort of the only way I operate, objectively, your 4 other teammates are highly qualified, but not just in their areas of expertise. Torch does a lot more than just check your university credentials before they hire you. There are whole departments here relegated to personality, compatibility, and team building, not like exercises, but like the putting together of teams, because Torch sends folks out. And sometimes communication to headquarters is difficult. And if we can prevent problems among crews ahead of time, that's going to save a lot of missions, save a lot of lives. So objectively, I just want you to know, and you do what you want with it. Objectively, everyone in your crew is incredibly qualified in their specialties and have been chosen because they can work with each other. All of you can work with each other. You're good people, Invicta. Torch doesn't work with anyone else. And I know good, as I said in my seminars, is a subjective word, but I think maybe it's what you need to hear right now. Remember that you're working with these folks. You've all got the same goal. And I would like to say that, worst case scenario, you end up like me, and that doesn't seem so bad. You could work with folks and not be friends.
Yeah. I mean, I did it often enough in university and in life and in whatever our high school equivalent is.
And I hear something when you say that makes me think that isn't what you want, and that's okay too. I don't know. I said I wasn't good at the social stuff. I hope that you get the job done, and I know that you will. And I hope that you do it in a way that your team can keep getting the job done, because I've got to tell you, Major Rafia is, please don't ever tell her I said this, but she really is over the moon about the 5 of you.
Huh.
She has her moments. She has her moments with all of you, but the things you've accomplished in just a few months, bringing to light 2 impressive new threats and being willing to continue the work and find out more about them, it's valuable. I don't know. I feel like I'm talking in circles and not really hitting anything, but I remember you in university. You can get the job done no matter what, and I know you will. But if you don't just want to get the job done, know that objectively, from me and the data, you all were put together for reasons. And even when things stumble, remember that.
You always say you're not good at people, but I think the data would prove you wrong.
I will respectfully disagree and begin collecting data to prove you wrong.
No, going back to the lounge and asking the professors that don't like you.
He laughs at that and he smiles and he says, maybe after all this time, maybe I'm starting to get a little better at it.
Oh, well, you've got plenty of time left, so you got plenty of time to practice.
One hopes. Can we, I don't often get to use some of the tech that we're going to use to put your ship together. Are you okay? I don't want to rush you. I know that's a thing you're not supposed to do when someone is upset, but I also think you might have fun. You want to go up and build a ship?
Sure. And she slams her drink and then she points at the food. Well, food.
He grabs it and a couple of utensils and carries it along with you all. And
Oh
the
my God.
bartender sort of goes, it's fine. He recognizes the two of you.
Put it on room F28. It's okay.
He sort of the bartender sort of waves at you, and you all head up to the top of the torch tower. By this time, the rest of you, Rafia has come back into the room and is like, this is so unlike him. I can't reach him on comms, and no one has seen him in any of his usual places. We just saw him. And at that moment, the doors open up because Dr. Nieto can also gain access to this room. And the five of you and Dr. Nieto and Major Rafia are together again.
Ta-da.
And Dr. Nieto immediately beelines to one of the blank walls and opens up a panel that was fairly well hidden in it and begins to access whatever this room does. And Major Rafia sort of turns to you all and says, so we'll be using this room as a way to attempt to put together a ship that meets your specifications. Dr. Nieto here will let us know if any things that you request are not possible, but rest assured that if they are possible, we are in the best possible hands here. And at that, Dr. Nieto hits a button, and the lights go out in this room, except for the sunlight still coming in from the glass ceiling, and hologram shapes begin to populate throughout the room. And the first thing that you see are just a bunch of basic hull shapes. And I'm not going to do it in character because it will take too long, but basically we've got a holodeck for you all, and we're going to build a ship together, and y'all are going to tell me things that you want included in this ship and what they might look like, and we're going to put it together. And Major Rafia and Dr. Nieto are here for when y'all get a little too grabby hands to say no. And that's what we go do.
Can our ship be a Dyson sphere?
Oh,
that is a thing that goes around a star.
Yeah.
That's probably a bad idea, but I figured I had to ask.
I think it could definitely be. I mean, it could definitely be spherical in shape.
That is not what I asked for. And
I know.
Koseh begins to pout immediately.
And Nieto says, and clearly Rafia was the first one to be like, Nieto is into it. Yes. And pulls up a couple of grabs, and at this point he's wearing these sort of circuit boarded gloves, and he just starts grabbing hulls around the room and throwing them into like the build space sort of up in the air. And he like pulls apart, like you can see him sort of trace seams in different parts of the hull and pull bits off of one and off of another, fit them together in a sphere-like shape. And then you see him grab like a drive core from a couple of different ships and like fit them together so that they safely emit like light, and throws it up at the center of the ship in sort of a core, like the core there. And he turns to you, Koseh, and he says, well, it's not a star.
I'll take it.
And he nods. Major Rafia looks to the rest of you and says, well, we're off to a great start. What else?
Is this like a kindergarten where it's like build your dream home and they give you like crayons and then you're just like, okay, I want a bowling alley and a living room?
A little bit for us. I mean, it's still Torch, and there are still physical constraints and whatever. But yeah, I want you all to build the ship of your dreams, and then I'll crush them and rebuild them in a reasonable way.
All right.
So right now we have the chassis is an enormous sphere with a core at the center, and Nieto is still sort of like fiddling with it as you all are making other requests and like finding ways to like have little cutouts so that the core is visible from the exterior of the ship if you want it to be. So he's fiddling until you all give him another request to add in.
Make the tubes wider. Sorry, go ahead.
I guess wider tubes and
He's like, yep, and then
2 requests. Well, there's a light source anyway, and I was thinking of having a green room in so we have things to grow plants and place to relax. And on top of that, I would also like a meditation room with like some sort of holographic projection. So wherever you find your place of happiness and comfort, one can meditate there. I love meditating, and sometimes some of the crew likes to wander off by themselves and have a little space for themselves to kind of get away from it all. So I just want to make sure that that is accessible to the rest of the crew, even though I'll be using it quite often.
And as you're speaking, Ilay, Dr. Nieto has already like swiped away all of the rest of the remaining like hulls and sort of is muttering loud enough that you all can hear. Oh, there's in fact there is a new system that we've been working on, and I believe it's ready. And he sort of pulls through, and you see he's looking through like life support systems, and he pulls out this very like organic plant-based sort of air cycling system, and he sort of throws that into the ship and moves it around. And you basically see that like there are green spaces kind of all over the ship. Some of them are just like there's a wall of like leafy green plants, but some of them are whole little like conservatory areas, and they're throughout most of the ship because that's going to be a lot of your air recycling. And he takes one. Then he starts working on the thing about like meditation or whatever, which is very much beyond his comfort zone. But he takes one of his plant conservatories and he like takes like some chairs and tables and throws them in there and sort of looks to you, Ilay, and goes, you could play soothing music.
Yes, well, I've seen things in other ships. If you need a reference, usually they make this like a battle room, but instead the opposite, where instead of having like projections of enemies, and maybe we need that too. I look over at like Invicta. Invicta wants to also have like a battle room, but it can also double as a place to meditate. But I would think that Dr. Niero would be more familiar with like, here's a training hologram room, but
that's sort of interesting. He's like, oh, I'll have to, that's a combination of, and he's pulling, he's just grabbed, and these are, it's not like he's on a tablet screen. Like these are not quite full size, but like, let's say 3/4 scale, like holograms of ship parts that he's just like grabbing and throwing into the air. So he starts working on putting together some sort of like hollow room. He needs to figure it out. But he's like, I can multitask. What else?
I drew up a design.
Oh, you have his undivided attention. So he holds, if you have it with him, if you want to pass it to him or if you want to tell him about it, he is ready.
So she pulls out 2 pieces of paper and holds up one, and it's just a drawing of the Wistful Wish. Like just the Wistful Wish, like the outside of it. And she's like calculated like how much it's gonna cost. She's, or you could just give me a kitchen, and holds up a drawing of a really nice kitchen.
I love that.
Koseh's gonna try to sneak over to the Wistful Wish one and like tug it out of your hand and put it on the ground.
Sila's gonna turn to Koseh and say, if you start with something exorbitant, anything you say after sounds reasonable. I heard that on Delightment with Delilah.
No, that's what I did. I asked for a Dyson sphere, and now I get a circle ship. So you're right. Sorry, I'm very excited. And I picked the sheet back up and put it back in her hand, and then move away.
I love that. He thinks for a second, and Major Rafia actually, she seems to have almost sort of surprised herself, but she goes over and she whispers something to Niero, and he sort of looks at her and shrugs and nods, and pulls up a kitchen for you. And does your sketch have any particular specs for this kitchen?
It's got a really big stove, and it's got a really nice butcher's block over off to the side. It's a
Ooh.
nice, like, oh my gosh, it'd be so nice. It'd be really nice and marble and sleek with a really cool backslash, and have really nice industrial sinks with a double bed. So that way, if we need to defrost some chicken or something, we have like one side over here. And it's gonna have 2 dishwashers like Paris Hilton's kitchen. So just in case we run out. I mean, not like legally distinct and not in this world,
Right.
Paris Hilton.
Sure. So he's throwing up appliances, and he looks concerned at one point after he's put 4 or 5 sort of large appliances in this kitchen, and you see him reach up, but he's not grabbing any of the appliances, but he grabs something, and I realize my camera is not up here. He grabs something and pulls out. He has been unnoticed by all of you because he's been doing it so smoothly. He's been wiring this whole ship as he builds it, and he just like yanked out a ton of his own wiring and is like, I'm gonna have to redo this, and just starts like throwing cables and attaching them to bits. And you actually watch as like the core, like the brightness from the core fluctuates as he connects different power sources and things to the kitchen. But eventually it kind of looks close to what you're looking for.
Can we do one of the top loading microwaves that comes out in the drawer, so that way, in case anyone's too short, they don't have to reach?
He expresses a few concerns about top loading anything in space, but he then routes power
it's in a drawer. It's in a drawer. You just pull it out, and then the microwave is down there. So that way, it's just easy.
I love it. Yes. All right. So he's got you all a nice kitchen, and then he looks to Invicta and Invicta and Ikemba, and says, requests. Clearly, he is having the most fun he has had in a long time.
I've an odd request. A med bay.
He literally guffaws and looks at the ship that he is building and looks back at you and says, "Bring it."
I would like a med bay that a bio priest can connect to and understand the person on the table.
Cool. Yeah. So I love this. We're really going wild, and I'm going to regret it in like 4 episodes, and I don't care because I love this. He pulls, there's several models of standard med bays for ships. So he grabs one that's got a little extra space, throws it up in there. And he starts pulling these, they kind of look like a cross between like an MRI machine. So they've got like the big round thing that you sort of can slide into at one end. But then it also has like clear glass sides where you would be laying. So it's not quite a full tank or like pod looking thing, but it does have sides. And you see him grab 2 of those, and then he starts linking them together. And he looks to you, Ikemba, and he says, do you have any allergies?
None that I'm aware of.
He nods, and you see him like flip through a menu that has just a list of all of these different like scientific compound formulae. And he like sorts them through, and he grabs one just like he's grabbed every other part of the ship. He grabs a couple of different formulas, like mushes them together in his hand and tosses them at the pods. And you watch as the pods sort of fill about halfway up with some sort of liquid, or well, really more of a gel. And he looks at you, Ikemba, and he says, conductivity enhancers. The 2 pods are linked, so you and your patient can sort of be in them. And he thinks for a minute, and he takes one of the pods and he like turns it so that it's on its end. He's like, that one's yours. That way you can be standing. If you are in one and your patient is in another, there will be an enhanced electrical link, which should do the trick for you. You'll need a few tries and a bit of practice, but eventually you should be able to really link with your patients in a much deeper way. Is that sort of what you were thinking?
That's exactly
He's still
what I
sort
was
of
thinking.
fiddling.
Thank you.
And he says, great.
A kitchen where if we decided to make cheese, just tools for making cheese.
He he kind of cocks his head and sighs and
I told you it
spins
was
the
odd.
sphere. Yeah, spins the sphere so that the kitchen is back in the front. And he just, I mean, very like, you know, he's got a tablet. This like as if he had a tablet. He just like touches the kitchen and drags it out a little bit so it gets a little bigger. And he's like, I feel like we're gonna need this
Oh,
space.
so a 0G panini press. So we can have 0G sandwiches like
Ilay said the most important thing.
Koseh. Yes.
Thank you.
He creates a little sphere that you can turn the gravity off in to check the efficacy of the resulting zero gravity panini. He throws that up in there. God, I'm gonna regret all of this, and I'm so excited about it. And then he looks to Invicta and says, requests.
Well, for my quarters, a library and enough space to train for the ship.
He starts throwing a few things.
A workshop that is big enough for all of us to have our own stations, or 6 or 5 individual workshops.
He, as he so often does when he's talking to you, because I don't know if it's that he feels more comfortable or whatever, but he starts muttering to himself, yes, of course, they'll be taking samples. They'll need to take readings and of course do experiments. We should do this. And he's, as you're talking, he's just throwing things. Was there anything else?
I just started thinking of XCOM and like the side training lab and the soldier training lab.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think he'll combine all of that together. He puts a library, and actually that is not practical at all as much as I love it.
What?
Well, I kind of wanted him to put the library like right around the core so that the light from the core lit
I
the
like that,
library
but
in a really
absolutely
beautiful
not.
way.
I need to draw a power from. Wait, what if you do the middle ring so it's scenic, but then I need the fabrication station to be drawing from the main power. But please give her library beautiful light. Do it.
He nods and thinks for a minute and goes, and so basically he bisects the sphere, and on one half the inner ring is a library, and the other half it is this enormously long arc of workshop space. At one portion of the hemisphere is workshop space. Part of it is I think the training is going to be somewhere else. But part of it incorporates the meditation conservatories that he's created, because that could probably do from the light too. And then he takes the places where those two sides meet on the sphere, and he does something sort of strange. He like jiggles with them and starts sliding them, and it's all sort of modular. So if you need to expand the workshop space a little, you can sort of reorganize the shelves in the library so that you get a little more space, and vice versa. And he looks to the two of you and says, seem right?
Sure.
Yeah, but I have some notes. And I think she just starts ripping out like pages and pages of notes that she's been making while watching all of this happen.
Yes,
but the big one that she hands over just says in like scratchy, like dark green ink, I want one of these. And then she points at his gloves.
Oh.
Put this in the fabrication room so I can test builds before I build them.
Rafia actually comes over. His eyes are gigantic, and like he is torn between like, all I want to do is give you this, and also I don't think there's any way I can give you this. And Rafia comes over, and she sort of puts a hand on his shoulder and says, I got clearance.
Yes,
we can install it as long as they understand, and she looks to all of you, but mostly to Koseh, that this is experimental technology.
Look, in the event that we're captured, I'll blow the whole ship so they don't get the tech and we'll all die gloriously. Give it to me now.
Dr. Nieto takes his hands and just sort of like he wants to give all 6 of the rest of you in this room a bear hug. Like it's very odd. He just like opens his hands And then he very slowly begins to bring them together. And you see a sort of copy of this entire room come with him and begin to shrink down. And you see like off to the side, there's like a little display comes up by him that's got a bunch of calculations. And Koseh and Invicta for sure, and likely possibly Silent 919 as well, could take a look and recognize that these are all calculations basically to make sure that this I'm not going to call it a miniaturization project, a process, not Ant-Man, but like the ability to make this tech sort of more compact is what it's calculating. And at what point is it too small? At what point, whatever. And he gets it to a reasonable size. He looks to Rafia and she sort of shrugs and he tosses that up into the sphere.
I will never let this ship crash or fail. This is the coolest thing in the whole world.
He says, well, hopefully in the whole galaxy. He swipes away at another number and none of you really got a good look at it, but like there were a lot of digits and we think that maybe it was the cost of this ship, but he's just like, and swipes it away.
Tight.
He starts grabbing, yeah. No, go ahead.
Is there a gym?
So he adds that he's got this like running list going. He adds that to this list of things that at least he thinks could be sort of combined into this hollow deck training room thing that he's going to come up with for you all. And he sort of he's like, is that okay?
Is it kickboxing bags there? I would love to take up my stress there.
He just grabs he reaches, into whatever the menu and throws up 3 or 4 big old punching bags.
A war room.
Yes, and he nods and he says, yes, thank you. And he zooms in and we get to what is obviously sort of the I don't want to say I guess the bridge, yeah. The bridge, but he expands it and he creates spaces for each of you to sort of come around this. Okay, this is a legally distinct Normandy CIC for those of you who have played Mass Effect. Like there's a map there and there are stations all around it. There isn't one. For this map and this area, there isn't one like obvious captain station. This is really your war room, your war table space. The captain's area is in another part of the bridge. But he sort of creates that for you. And while he's doing that, he's grabbing weapon systems, basic. Yes.
Not that kind of war room. I meant legally distinct, like X-Men training room.
That's a danger room.
Yes.
Danger room to check us on potential issues that could arise, especially as we discover like what we're up against. We need to be able to at least simulate a practice. So if that's something we could work into the holodeck, that would be great.
You've seen him throw so many things, layer so many things into what this like hollow room is going to be on your ship. He's like, okay, and he layers another thing on there. He does leave the area on the bridge though as well as sort of like a tactical station for you all. He throws in some weapon systems. Obviously, he throws up a shield system, so you see very briefly a sort of like a semi-transparent sphere around the ship, sort of shimmer in and out of view.
These bolster the communications array, since we know that these robots send a lot of signals somewhere.
He nods and throws up. At first he like adds a bunch of stuff to it, and it manifests in like it makes this sphere look deadly. There are just antenna everywhere, and he's like, I don't. He hears that and he goes, "It's a different aesthetic."
Make it scary.
He sort of he like shrinks the whole ship down and just sort of like compresses it, and the antenna all sort of retract. And he's like, that'll be better. Throws up a few other things in, and then are there any other big requests?
No, put
Right.
my bed in the fabrication room. Thank
This
you.
has been very funny. He takes the bed from one place.
Thanks.
And he says, great. And the major recommended one thing. So let me see if I can. And he starts going through some menus that he hasn't grabbed before. And he's doing a pretty decent job of like putting himself between you all and the interface, so you can't see what he's doing. And he grabs something and he grabs the ship and sort of brings it down in. Oh, yes.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I like just thought about this.
Yeah.
Just really quick. I'd like a Lightbringer acupuncture room, so that I can help the crew out in that way, because usually we just do scalpel work, but if I can do preventative or post trauma care with the Lightbringer acupuncture room, that'd be great. You just need to get some of the sunlight either from the center or get some of the dark stuff from
Starlight.
the dark side.
He sort of spins back to about where the med lab is, and just adds a section onto there that has access to both interior and exterior windows,
Wait.
I guess.
Wait, so they can put needles in people's skin, but I can't put stuff in your blood? Rude.
He flinches at that and he goes, I don't do blood. And he grabs
Ignore
the ship
me.
and shrinks the ship down and sort of is obviously sort of like hiding whatever he's doing from you. And you see him like grab something and put it on the ship and grab something else and put it on the ship. And then he throws the ship back up, and you all can see that he's basically got it pointed so that the bridge area and sort of the view screen of the bridge is facing the glass ceiling. And he hits a button and the glass shimmers and sort of transforms the sky above you into the night sky, into sort of space, so that it's dark and filled with stars. And he very gently grabs the ship and rotates it 180 degrees so that you all can see what is an odd thing to say on a spherical ship, but the front of the ship. And you see that he has taken what he was able to from the scrap of the Wistful Wish and has placed it around the front bridge area of this ship, so that the place where you all will command the ship and look out upon space is still a part of the wish. And he looks at you, Silent 919, and he says, I didn't think we really wanted to rebuild it bit by bit, but it served you well.
So does that mean I don't get my kitchen?
He looks very alarmed and like spins the ship real quick and points at the kitchen. He goes, no, kitchen's still there. Kitchen's still there.
Oh.
That's right. Yay for the kitchen. That is correct.
Yay,
That is accurate.
Ezekiel.
So he reassures you that he's got your kitchen there, and he brings it back, and you can actually see where he where Maria and Decker, actually, which Rafia could tell you if you asked, managed to salvage part of the hull of the Wish where the name was. So that's there. And he looks to you all and he says, now, I know usually it's protocol to name the ship immediately. But if you all want some time to think of something, and he just sort of rubs his hand across where the name is, and it sort of shimmers into just outline. So it's still there, but you have seen where y'all's ship name will be. Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind, because it's a ball or a bowl, the Listful Fishbowl?
No.
Okay, well.
The Rafia, the professor, the doctor rather, is ready to put it on there. Major Rafia sort of goes, I don't know that we can really name an official flagship torch vessel, the fishbowl, the fishbowl, the fit. Sorry.
I'm good at names. Ilay not. That's what that was.
Oh, this is the opposite. I am terrible at names, so amen. Yes.
Ooh, what about instead the contemplative warning? Because it's the opposite.
Writing these down.
Of a
Because it's the
wistful wish.
opposite.
It is.
I love it.
Contemplative
As one option.
warning.
Look, this is a
Would
big
that be the opposite of a
responsibility.
wish as a warning? No.
Wish is a. I mean,
it could
I like,
be.
I like where it's headed.
You're all very bad at
Contemplative
names, but so
omen.
am I.
Contemplative what?
Contemplative omen.
Omen. Right. Well, this is a big responsibility to name this new flagship. So you all can have some time. We do not have to name it here and now.
I would like to toss in an option.
Oh, yeah. I'll add it to the list. Tell me.
A wistful will.
Oh, wistful will. All right. Added that to my list. We will make a decision at some point. Yeah, so the major and the doctor check in with you all to make sure that there aren't any other big things that we need to add. For what it's worth, this was I hope you all enjoyed this. I had a blast and continue to be very nervous about what's going to bite me in the booty. But this was fun. Obviously, there are like all kinds of necessary ship systems for you all to get this job done that we have not explicitly talked about. If it's something deeply obvious, like, yes, of course, that's also included in the ship. There are weapon systems. There is some basic, we're not going to have super high advanced experimental cloaking and stealth capabilities, but like there is the root of, the basic stuff that's on all torch ships and all of that stuff will be there. So rest assured, just because in this moment you all didn't think of something doesn't necessarily mean that it won't be there. But the particularly exceptional stuff about this ship are the things that you all have put into it to make it your own. And I forgot, he also, well, now the moment has passed, but he also put a slightly oversized captain's chair on the bridge for you all, just because that's wistful and fun. And so the Dr. Dieter takes a great, big, giant, deep breath and says, and now to build it. And that is where we are going to take our little break for this week. Go take care of yourselves and then come right back. Don't go away. We are only halfway through. We have plenty more to do now that we have the ship designed, stuff coming up, and of course, a mission to take care of. So we will be back very shortly. Take care of yourselves, get your water, get your meds, get your bio, get your whatever you need. We will do the same, and we will see you in a few. welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out. Appreciate that. Oh, our lovely dice. Uh-huh. Just seeing if you're paying attention. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you took care of whatever you needed to take care of and are ready for the remainder of our session tonight. So we left off, the crew had put together their wildest dreams into a ship that now some poor engineer has to build. It's going to be very exciting for them. That's going to take a little while. Torch is really putting a lot of resources toward getting you all off on this mission because is there anything scarier than an enemy that you know nothing about? So they really want to get you going. So they're going to put, a lot of bodies, a lot of time, a lot of money into this. So it's not going to be too long, but there will be some time before the ship is ready to go. So if there is anything in the interim, I know a couple of you have talked to me and there are things that you would like to do in the interim before you head off on this mission. It may be a while before you get back to Vitoa and back to Torch HQ, because the plan right now is for you all to follow sort of the ghost echo of a comm signal that Torch was able to trace using some of the machines that you all found, and then just to keep sort of following that line until you figure out literally anything about these machines. So when you all head off, it may be a while before you get back to Vitoa. So if there's any last minute things that we briefly want to address, now would be the time. And I want to start with Silent 919, who we find, I believe, in your quarters on your own, having some self-reflection time, if I'm not mistaken. You are muted, unless you are just mouthing to yourself. Oh no, you're just very quiet, and it decided not to pick you up.
It's the thing. Scylla is in her room and she is listening to Delightment with Delilah. I am capable. I can handle this. You're a precious flower. You are the most delightful flower, and all you have to do is believe in yourself, and you can make it through this. I am a delightful flower. All I have to do is believe in myself, and I can make it through this. You get out there and you motivate your team, but you also have to be a team player. Get out there and motivate your team, but you also have to be a team player.
There is a team. There is a me in team, but only if you spell it wrong.
There is a me in team, but only if you spell it wrong.
If you spell it right, and there's this long pause on the tape, then you're a team player.
If you spell it right, then you're a team player.
You can do this.
You can do this.
I can do this.
I can do this.
I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna do this.
Let's do this.
Let's do this. That was fun. I enjoyed it. I feel more centered. And she stands up and she goes to find Koseh.
Oh, all right. Yeah. Where's Koseh? Where did she find Koseh?
Koseh is, I think she's kind of just raiding like whatever sort of like commissary kitchen situation is there, and just loading all of her jumpsuit pockets with snacks.
And there are a lot of jumpsuit pockets, as I recall.
Oh yeah, there's so many pockets and they're all zippers. And she's just like, all right, if there's fruit snacks, I will have them all.
Yeah. That's where you find her, Silent 919.
So she just crams like 2 like big things of fruit snacks and then gets made by Silent 919.
Are you hungry?
I am preparing for later when I get hungry. I'm okay right now. Do you want a fruit snack?
I'll pass.
Okay.
If you don't mind, may I speak with you for a moment?
Yeah, am I in trouble?
No.
Okay. It would have been fine if I was in trouble too. I just wanted to set my expectations. And she like walks over, and I don't know if you're standing or sitting, but she will go crisscross applesauce, like the backpack of spider climb comes out to like keep her at your eye level, but she just sits.
So Silo's just gonna like bend as if she's like in a chair, but doesn't need a chair.
Amazing. Oh, I like this for us.
It's good. I like this. Do you remember when I spoke with you about the emotions upgrade that I received?
Yes. How's that going? I'm not gonna ask questions. Yes, I remember.
I think that the amount of stress that we've been under, along with what I was already feeling, is making me a really bad captain.
In this moment, I have to ask because I want to be very clear. Are you looking for reassurance or feedback?
Both?
Okay. Feedback first. You are an excellent captain, Admiral. I don't really care about levels. You're our leader. I think that your emotions, strong and new though they may be, have only ever led you to make choices that you take with your crew's well-being in mind. That's very good. I have met and worked under other Monsigene that operate on a more utilitarian set of ideas. I think it makes their jobs easier for them if that's what you want. I don't necessarily think they're better at it, though. I'm not very good at emotions, but I think they're important. So I guess my feedback is, if you want an easier time, you should turn off the emotions. Reassurances. You all are the first crew that I have ever wanted to stay with. I'm very good at my job, and I fancy myself a bit of an upstart at Torch. But if I was to stay with this crew, instead of constantly piggybacking to more and more highly acclaimed crews and missions, this is good too. And that's because of you and the culture that you have cultivated here. Even when it's not perfect, maybe because it's not perfect, but it feels real. And that's important, because it's really scary and we might all die. So you're doing a really good job. And I am happy to serve under you. Did that help?
It was very helpful. It's what I needed to hear, but it's when I got upset with you about Tiwi, and when I got upset with Invicta, it was only because thinking that because I'm inorganic, I might be disposable. It made me feel disposable and interchangeable, and I find myself hiding behind. You're one of those very easy people to tell things to. Do you hear that a lot?
I do not. This is great.
Oh, no, I just find you very agreeable and level-headed.
Thank you.
I want to apologize to Invicta, but I also want to change the behavior.
I would like to begin by I understand where you're coming from. You guys have all been together for it was in the briefing. I don't remember, some amount of time before I showed up.
Surprisingly, not nearly as long as it feels like. Like, it really only was a couple of months.
Okay. I didn't read the thing. So you've been together for decades, probably. And then I showed up and I wondered, because Bertrand is your engineer, if I would be disposable too. So I think everyone feels that. Not to dismiss your feelings, but to say that they are very normal, if obnoxious. I think clear communication is the most important thing. That saying sorry is good and changing is good, but just understanding where other people are coming from is the thing. And honestly, it's my struggle point. Oh boy, understanding other people's emotions is wild. But
it's very stressful.
Yeah, but I think you're doing the right thing. And is there a way I can support you in it? I don't know how to help, but I'll do whatever I can.
I think it's something I need to do on my own. But thank you for listening.
Anytime. Is it okay if I call you Cap? Because it's easier than remembering. You get promoted so fast.
Cap is just fine.
Okay. I know it's just the top half of him. And I reach into my pocket and Tiwi's got like, he's completed, but he's definitely like in two halves, but they're two completed halves. So I just give the front half because that's the support side. If you put him in your pocket, he can go with you. And that way you have someone going with you. And I promise I won't spy through him. I just want you to have some support. If that's okay.
That's an oddly specific thing to say.
No, I know. I just figured everyone should know that I can see through Tiwi's eyes. But I won't this time.
The staff member in charge of the canteen has been sort of cleaning up and moving things around. When you pull Tiwi out and say, "I won't spy on you," you didn't really notice this person before because they were just going about their business, but you notice them now because they have just stopped and are sort of looking and trying to get a look at Tiwi from, across the canteen area.
I push Tiwi into your hands and like close your hands around it. And I say, "Okay, Cap, you go. I got this. Don't be nosy." And then I walk over with my like big spider legs out and I'm like, ah, it's just
and they've got like a stack of like, trays and rubbish and whatever, and it just like, "Don't be nosy," and it goes everywhere.
Go get him, Cap.
And she goes to knock on Invicta's door.
And you get there and there isn't any response, but not because Invicta's not answering the door, but she isn't there. She's not in her quarters at the moment.
Do a scan.
Yeah, where might we find Invicta at this particular point in the building somewhere? I think you're muted.
Probably whatever, like workout, sparring room.
Yeah. Absolutely. Lord knows there are plenty here at Torch. So yeah, there's the training area down sort of in the basements because this gets loud. So yeah, you pick up her comm signal from the training areas in the basement.
May I come speak with you?
I'm training.
May I train with you?
You can observe.
I'll be right there. Thank you.
And you just
Silo, like speed runs, like shucks it.
Yes,
Sit down the
yes.
hall.
Just like grab the elevator isn't there. You just like grab the cable and slide down. No. And yeah, and if you hadn't been down here before, it would immediately become clear why this area of Torch is sort of sequestered in the 4th sub basement, because it is loud. It is loud with the sound of weapons firing and hand-to-hand combat and grunts and yells and all kinds of noises, and just sort of a baseline hum that is the system, like it's not a life support system, but the system they have in place down here to make sure that nobody hurts themselves, and if they do, that they are immediately attended to should anything particularly untoward happen during training. And you spot Invicta. Is Invicta training with anyone or moving through forms on your own, or how are you training this evening, Invicta?
She's mainly just kind of going over forms with her blade.
Cool. Yeah, so you see that beautiful Aventera blade that she's got sort of moving slowly through the different forms. You've seen her do this before on board, I'm sure.
You look really great training.
When I finish my form and hold the blade down, I just kind of look at her. Is there something you needed?
Do you have a second to talk?
I can hear you.
There's a very low buzz, and it's making me have to project a little bit in order to be sure that you are hearing me.
And you hear it, Invicta, and you realize that down here has been, there are all kinds of ear coverings and whatever if you want them, but there are a few frequencies that are particularly noticeable to various different, levels of hearing. So you as a high null are hearing all kinds of wild things, and Silent 919 as a Mansagani is sort of hearing and feeling. And now that you sort of focus in on it, you can feel it too, that like electrical buzz that runs through the training area.
Yes, I walk over.
Yep.
I don't have any more cards. I don't have any more songs. I shouldn't have taken my frustration out in the way that I did. And I genuinely apologize.
All right.
I know that I can say words, and words aren't the same as change behavior. So going forward, I promise if there's something between you and I'll come to you, and I won't use sandwiches as a weapon.
And Invicta, you hear in your head that conversation that you had with Dr. Niero earlier today. Just little snippets. It's a bit trite, but you hear you were all brought together for a reason. These are good people. You have walls for a reason. You can work with anyone. You just sort of hear all of those things that he said to you cycling through your head.
Victor just stands there for a minute, and then she finally looks at Sila. Well, if you're going to bring a weapon, bring something better than a sandwich.
Sorry.
I won't bring my words either.
Look.
Get it? Because the words are really cutting like your blade is, and it's not a sharp weapon, but it is kind of a sharp weapon when you think about it. I don't have what you would necessarily refer to as a close family. I know that sometimes I can be brash and blunt and direct and eloquently worded and have fantastic hair and look really good in a captain's chair. But like, that's neither here nor there.
You're prevaricating.
I'm avoiding. It's a protocol that I really need to uninstall. I just want you to know I care about this group. I care about you. And I want to make moves to be the best me that I can be. Because there's no me in team unless you spell it wrong.
And Invicta just kind of looks at her. It's like, you're listening to those tapes, aren't you?
What? Tapes.
The tapes, those tapes I can hear when I walk past your quarters.
Oh, you know, there's nothing wrong with a little self-improvement.
No,
And
I just find them odd. That's all. Because you shouldn't need a recorded voice to tell you you're a decent person.
personal growth is a personal responsibility.
Oh God, what have we done?
Invicta just rolls her eyes. Just fine. Is there anything else you needed? I'm expecting Ikemba to join me for sparring.
Oh.
She says, I do have one more gift. And hands her a like fresh, cold bottle of water. Like directly out of her chest.
You can leave it down there. I'm in the middle. I don't want to get a cramp while I'm doing my forms.
And she pulls out a room temperature bottle and puts it right next to that one as she puts them down. Just in case.
All right.
So Ikemba, it sounds like you were on your way down here. Is that the case?
That is correct.
All right. So this
Like,
feels
that's
like a good time for you to join the scene.
Ikemba walks in the door and just like, I believe it's time to spar. And just starts stretching.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything specific you wanted to focus on today?
Defense.
So I'll bring the warmth, as it were. I look forward to this.
Now, when Ikemba spars, does he? Sorry to interrupt. I just want to find out real quick. Is it hand to hand, or is there a weapon that you use?
Ikemba has a blade. It's like a small, just like a reverse grip blade that kind of goes down his forearm to about here. But it is the vast majority of his combat is hand to hand. He tries to only use that blade in situations in which he feels his life is in danger. But considering, like, I feel like at this point, it's not a thing that it's not surprising that Ikemba and Invicta have sparred, and I feel like it's mostly bladeless.
Yeah.
But
okay.
When she decides that she wants to whip out blades, he can whip out a blade. It's just he tries to not use it wherever possible.
Love it.
Oh, no, she so what, I was gonna ask live blades or just like, you know.
Oh, sorry. We had this, we hive brained.
You good. That's actually the first time I've gotten to talk about the fact that he keeps a blade on his person. So it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it.
He just kind of keeps it like in his belt loop in the back underneath his like outer shirt. So it's not very noticeable unless you specifically know where it is and you are looking for it.
Yeah. Invicta puts her blade, she sees it, puts it like under her towel and wraps it where she can see it, and waits for Ikemba to do the same.
All right.
And he just kind of like unsheathes it and then just kind of like places it next to hers so that it is visible, not hiding it from like in his mind, like putting it away is like hiding it means like in his mind, it's like, I mean you ill if you know I have a blade and you saw me move it and I'm hiding it. Like, so he just keeps it available.
All right. And as you all come together and begin to, you know, slowly at first and sort of picking up the pace, is Silas staying to watch the session? Silas 919, excuse me.
Lean forward at that awkward angle to say. Yeah, she's gonna stay and she's just gonna like silently cheer.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So certainly, you know, we can talk about the two of you who, as you said, Ikemba, have sparred before. So there is a form to it. There is a flow to it. You both understand sort of, you know, what each other needs and how to best stay in shape. And so it becomes sort of this dance. Are you two is this like a sparring match? Like, you are obviously not to hurt or kill each other, but are you going at it, or is this more of like a two-part form? Do you know what I mean? That is not clear.
Oh no, I thought we were going at it.
Oh, that's fine too.
In my
I'm just
mind,
wondering.
When she said she wanted to focus on defense, Ikemba's like, all right, gonna do some things. So
Yeah.
once they get into that groove, that rhythm that they're so used to sparring with one another, Ikemba starts to throw off combos, like the combos that she knows. She knows his patterns, she knows his moves. So he'll come in for a 3-hit combo and then feint the knee, fall back, and then just like kind of slide in with the other foot, try to like take her down just low, just to see if he can keep her on her toes if she's ready for that second maneuver. And then every now and then, like, he'll come in with a feint mid and then come right across with an elbow, just like right at her face level, just to keep things going, because she wanted to focus on defense. And then he'll every now and then he brings in a combo that she's never seen before. So he'll go feint knee, elbow, and then right back to the same knee twice. So he typically will take the movement and then move with the body motion, but every now and then it's just like, no, let's keep this up and see if you're ready for it. So he goes harder than he does typically, because she said she wanted to go in for defense.
Yeah. And how's Invicta doing? I mean, obviously has a lot in her mind. How's the sparring going with all that?
She's good. Those unknown combos kind of throw her off. And she had the that moment of like she gets caught in the jaw when she wasn't expecting it. And then I'd say they're at a draw for some of it. There are a few times Ikemba gets in a few good shots. She gets him once or twice. But because she is aware that they're being observed, it does throw her off. So when he does another one of those unseen before combos, he just puts her right on her back.
And we hive-brained again, because what I was about to say after this was that you have drawn a bit of a crowd. Not only is your sparring quite high level, but the five of you are not unknown to the vast majority of Torch staff and agents. So you've drawn a bit of a crowd. And Ikemba, when you put her down there, there's this silence and then this roar of cheers. And you look around, and yes, they are cheering the move and the point scored, or whatever you want to call it. But there's sort of a few folks, or maybe more than a few, come towards you all and are very clearly cheering for Invicta as well. One of them might, and this is not to say that your sparring is over, but this felt like a climax moment. A couple of them may come and offer to help you up if you would like it, Invicta, but they are clearly cheering for the dance that they just watched.
And then Kimba's very glad to see that, because typically when they spar, he just he gets her down, he just puts his hand out, just well played. And just like ignoring everybody there, like knowing, like once he can hear in the murmurs that it's like they're just there excited because they got to watch them spar, he's just like, okay, cool. Because he had gathered for a second. Like the second they started cheering, he was just like, he was like getting ready to put his arm up and just like, shut up. Like, so
yeah.
Once he understood it, he still just kind of like puts his left hand up.
Yep.
With like a halt motion, and then just and he
immediate.
reaches down to help Invicta up if she would like to be helped up.
Oh, well, Invicta's going to be a little dirty, and you see her smile right before she does it. She flips you on your back on the mat behind her.
There are more cheers and laughter from the group, and at this point, a few of the higher up officers sort of are like, "All right, show's over," and disperse. Let him get back to it. And folks start to disperse, but there's a few, a few of them walk by you, Invicta, and sort of like, sort of give you a little elbow and a wink, and like, yeah, nice, well done. And of course, there, a few of them give you a little shit in Ikemba, but then, immediately in the same breath, they're like, well, holy damn, that first move. So, and they disperse and allow you all to continue, finish. I don't know. You all take it back.
Well played. It's not the first time you've done it, but it's always nice. It's always nice. It always catches me off guard. Well played. Would you like to continue? Or shall we gather some water?
Water's good.
Perfect.
All right. Well, we do want to check in before the day is done with Ilay and see what they're up to.
In my quarters, I collect an ink bottle and a nice pen or brush and a nice like book with paper that's kind of like leaves made from like large leaves from the village that I'm from. And I'm gonna go and find Koseh.
Yeah. Oh, well, gods, where is she now?
She is mid climbing into, she's just going into a vent. I'm not gonna there's no context for this. You just see Spider going up a wall and she's climbing into a AC vent.
Mm-hmm.
So I did spot Koseh, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Koseh.
No! And she like peeks back down, upside down, hands up.
No.
Oh, hey, Ilay. Hello.
Hi.
Am I in trouble?
No.
Cool. And I come back down out the vent.
Okay. Now that you're down, I had a question. If you can teach me something, I'm not compared to the rest of the crew. I am not as tech savvy or well versed in the thing, but I have thought or meditated on a problem that we've had. Those machines that we've been coming across, they have their own language or signal or something. And I've during the meeting, I heard some of the cryptologists speak, and I've worked with signals before, but not to any mathematical degree. So I was wondering if you can teach me about cryptology and signals.
Absolutely. I am so sorry. I try to match your energy, but the calmer you get, the louder I want to be. Yes.
I like almost drop my ink bottle and catch it. Like, yep.
Cool. Yes, please. I would like very much to help you learn that.
Yes, because I drew some of the symbols the crew spoke about, the ones that we've seen counting down. But we don't know what it means. And I figured if we're going to pursue or go up against them again, we might as well know what they're saying, or if we intercept signals, we can follow them.
May I grab your hand and run?
Sure.
And she immediately reaches out, grabs you, and like drags you bodily towards like wherever her room is here. And she pulls out like another tablet, like unplugs it from where it was like charging up, and immediately like thrusts it into your hands. Like, okay, I've opened up a program. If you can copy in like the symbols that you saw from the other one, and I'll get you up to date with what I've seen thus far, and we can like circle up and figure out. But just let's compare notes.
How do I use your program? This is beyond. I've used other things, but this is
one. You do have to flip the tablet over. They're not orientation specific, but that's upside down. So just flip.
Okay.
Okay. And now, well, let's start with the beginning. What's your comfort level? Did you go? Is it weird if I ask if you went to school? I don't know if that's mean.
It's not mean. I guess, well, yes, but it's something that some Misajai will do just to get back to sorts. And so I've been to that, but not any formal school that you know in this sense.
Okay, so no school. Totally fine. Let me pull up some stuff from early days. And she for sure goes and like starts scrolling, and you see that like the tablets are very quickly connected. So you're looking at her doing everything that she's doing as she pulls up like an elementary school, like Hyanol primer on like how to like interact well with programs that like touch different parts of like the web and like how to like pull stuff. I'm like, okay, there's some tutorials on here. I hope this isn't condescending. I don't know how brass tacks to start with, but if you can if you get used to what programs look like generally, then everything else I can just explain as we go. And once you're kind of comfortable just interfacing with like this kind of tech, you're very smart, and I know you'll pick it up super quick. And thank you for trusting me to help you learn this, and I'm very excited to work with you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I've only learned how to use things.
Use the
now.
other end of the pencil, like the tablet pen, please.
Yes.
That's the eraser. Good
I've
job.
learned navigation things, but not only for use of that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll learn this. I guess I'll give you. Please only look through these pages for the signs and symbols that I.
I'll just do some data scrubbing. I'll put them all in the thing and just kind of clean them up, and then you can explain all of your context for them. But I'll just kind of get them all, digitized for you.
Okay. Yeah.
Have I overwhelmed you?
A little, but I expected it.
I love that. I love this team up. I'm very into this.
She offers you some very hot fruit snacks.
Very hot, like temperature, or very hot, like spicy?
Yeah, they're hot. They're in the cargo pocket, but they're the ones closest to her skin. So they got kind of like a body heat, melty vibe. Like, here you go. Sugar helps your brain think good. Everyone says that.
Until it doesn't, but yeah.
Yeah.
I'll use your studying tips then.
Okay. You can come in here whenever you want.
Okay. And I'm gonna leave just with probably the pad and other things that Koseh gave me, and try and make my way to the room and do some sort of studying.
Yeah.
There's a little tote bag of just like other stuff. She didn't explain it. She just gave you a bunch of stuff.
That's fair.
You did it to yourself, but also like I feel like I should say sorry for making your character have to do homework now after you had to spend so much time doing. I don't know, but like also your own fault. So whatever. I love this though, and yeah, absolutely. The two of you working together. I don't think you have enough data to like crack the code yet, but I definitely think that this is a really interesting and hopefully eventually important thing that you've started. So I will ruminate on how we want to gamify this and tell you all at a later date. For now, though, anything else with this, Ilay or Koseh?
Nope. I was gonna go check in with Invicta, but seeing that Invicta is sparring with Ikemba and Silent 919's there, I'm just gonna be like, well, I guess go back to studying. And that's
oh no, a phrase you've never said before.
Yeah.
Just for what it's worth, you left Koseh, and as the door like slides closed, she has the biggest grin, like full fangy mouth, like she's so excited to have something to do with you. And she probably over inundated because she's like, I want you to leave with as much as you want, and has just like, she's got a lot of like hot mom energy, like, okay, you have everything you need, and then just kind of goes back to like puttering around the room and moving stuff. She's got a lot of it. Happy energy. She doesn't know what to do with.
It's when you have a lot of knowledge, but you're like really excited, so like you almost like, fire hydrant someone, and then
100%.
Like, they'll be fine. They'll figure it out. I figured it out, and you just
like, all in there
was not fine.
Among Us.
I'm gonna stay up late, and I understand why Koseh stays up late now too.
Yeah. I love it. And that is a slice of life for the next few days. Torch is fast, and it's the future, and also I said so, but it is still, they're building a new ship. So that's a little slice of life of what the next few days look like, allowing you all to continue to work on your studies, Invicta and Ikemba to spar when you need, Silent 919 to listen to her tapes, and lots of other things. But eventually, after a few days, a message comes down to you all. A text-based message gets to all of your devices, asking you to come to the hangar that afternoon. and you arrive, and there are a lot of people here that are many of them are like actively and poorly trying to look kind of nonchalant about the fact that they are all here, and many of them don't normally hang out at the hangar bay. And as the enormous hangar doors open, there is everyone drops the ruse and turns to you all and sort of cheers and gives you all a round of applause as this incredible ship is revealed in the very center of the hangar. And it's a little Michael Crichton sphere, legally distinct. Yes. So like, it's a little creepy, but is also like this beautiful feat of engineering. And you know, there are engineers and all kinds of tech folks that are still sort of running around checking things. There is, from the very center of it's a sphere. What have you done to me? The part of the sphere that is facing you, there's a little aperture that's open, and a sort of gangplank basically that has come down, and you can see inside, you know, the airlock area there. And Major Rafia and Dr. Nieto come up to you all, and they say, well, does it look like you hoped?
Koseh is actively drooling.
Uh-huh.
His eyes water, and he's just like, it's
It
glorious.
certainly looks adequate.
All right.
Koseh reaches into her pocket and pulls out like a plasma cutter, and then like turns it on, and then looks at the hull, and then turns it up, and is going to attempt to sidestep this entire conversation to go get on the outside of this. So I'm just saying she's walking away.
Amazing. I think Dr. Nieto noticed, because it's his baby, and is not stopping you yet, but is following you. And Major Rafia sees the two of you go off, and we'll zoom in on you in just a moment, but we see the remaining four of you with Major Rafia. And she pulls out, they look like little like data pads, but they're very small. And she has 5 of them, and she hands one to each of you. And she obviously has one more for Koseh, who she finally notices has wandered off with Dr. Nieto, but she's like, well, Dr. Nieto's with him, it's fine. And she explains to you all that she understands, and you can see that there is obviously some sort of like memory that she is reliving as she says this to you all, but she understands the importance of a name. And she has assigned your vessel a call sign for now, but it is a temporary one because you all should be able to name your ship. And she said, and I hope that I'm not overstepping, but I thought perhaps it might be nice to make it official this way. And she indicates the data pads that each of you has. And she says, when you have all come to agreement on the name of the ship, each of you will input the name onto this data chip. When all 5 chips have had the same name input, and she sort of points up, and right above the aperture, you can see little lights come on. And she says, Dr. Nieto has programmed the outside of the ship to etch whatever you have chosen there. The etching can only take place once and is as permanent as anything can be. So decide well. Decide together. And she hands each of the 4 of you the chips. And while you feel however you want to feel about getting to name this ship together, we go over to look and see what Koseh is up to, with Dr. Nieto like curiously, nervously, all of the things following a little ways behind.
Koseh looks over her shoulder and sees Nero and gets a little faster. And it's going to take this at a sprint, backpack of spider climb out, boots on, as she takes a running leap to like land and magnetize herself to the outer hull, and pulls out that plasma cutter and is going to just attempt to cut into the hull just to see how sturdy it is.
Yeah, Dr. Nieto is running after you, but is not as sprightly as you. So you've got some time. Also, everyone else is far too distracted with this beautiful ship and making sure that it, everything goes right, that they don't really notice you quickly enough either. So you're up there and pocket plasma cutter, but it's you, so reasonably powerful, turned up to full. Yeah, and I think you maybe if you can feel where there is the slightest little rough gradient where you've gone, but this is some sturdy whatever it is that they've used to make this thing out of. And you actually watch as little alarms, little like indicator lights begin to sort of light up and outline the portion of the hull that you have damaged, whatever, marked. And they sort of outline it and then they go out. But if you touch that place again, the lights come back on to show you where the damage is.
Koseh watches this, and when Dr. Nero gets close enough, you can hear that she is just cackling under her breath. And then she's going to flip around upside down and look down at him with the plasma cutter in her hand and go, "It's not strong enough." And I'm going to slam it onto the ground and shatter it. I'll make something for this ship. This is great.
Nieto is...
I'm sorry. You're good. You did a good job. Here, I'm going to compliment you until you can breathe again. This is real good. I like the outside. I love the sensor array. I cannot wait to get in and kind of just mess with the interface a little more. And I don't know what that is up there. She points to like the little array where like the naming would happen, but I can hack into that really quick and pop that off real. That's fine. Seems good. Yeah, name. This is great. Huh?
The name.
I'm Koseh. Thank you.
And he just sits down on the hangar floor and goes, "Glad you approve."
Love it.
And then sort of lays back on the floor, arms out, like clearly he's trying to like touch as much of the cool metal hangar bay floor as he can. And he sort of waves and gives you another thumbs up. And that's where we will end this week's session, with you all in possession of your brand new dream home. No, beautiful ship. That likely will have its own unique issues, but also is uniquely tailored to the five of you so that you can take it out to space and wreck the shit out of it. I can't wait to see what problems you all put this beautiful ship into and ultimately what we name it. But for now, thanks so much for watching, everybody. We appreciate you. We will be heading off planet next week. Next week, same time, same place, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, midnight BST, here at twitch.tv/CypherOfTier. Let's go around and let you know how you can keep up with these lovely humans until next week. So much going on for all of them. I know we've only got 2 minutes, but look, I said chaos and I'm committing to it. Go.
Oh, hi, I'm DJ Knight. You can find me all over the internet at DJ Knight. I'm just going to do it now just because I didn't earlier. You guys are awesome. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you.
All right. Next up.
Hey, I'm Abria Iyengar. Follow me on social media at QuiddyQuiddie. I stream all over the place. You can, on Wednesdays over on dropout.tv, you can catch the new season of Dimension 20, The Seven, where I play a character. You can also go back and watch Misfits and Magic, the season that I ran. It's all available there. Tomorrow, you can catch me over on Critical Role's channel at 7, feels right, for ESO Blackwood, the second of our 3-part one-shot in the Elder Scrolls universe. On Fridays, you can catch me over on Pixel Circus's channel for Failed Save, and watch Exandria Unlimited. All the VODs are out. The whole story's out there. Thank you so much.
Congrats on wrapping that. I mean, you wrapped it a long time ago, but congrats on the release wrapping. Who's up next?
I'll go.
Yeah.
Hello. My name is Michael Sinclair II. I go by Michael Crits everywhere. You can check me on Twitter and on Twitch, where I play Magic the Gathering. If I'm not doing D&D stuff, I'm doing Magic the Gathering. That's why you haven't seen me on my Twitter, because I've just been inhaling the modern format. If you know what that is, you'll understand. Anyway, you can catch me on Second Star to the Right, a a stream that is a TTRPG that takes place in Neverland, and I'm on Faithforge Academy podcast that takes place in the Feywilds, the school in the Feywilds, and Let's Get Wildmount with Critical Bard and crew on Saturdays. And yeah, that's me. Got lots of going on, and hope to see you at one of those things.
I love it. Next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Christina Ariel, Krystina Arielle, and it's spelled like that on everything. It's just at Christina Ariel because it's the first and middle name my mom gave me for my birthday. So, oh, did I just lose you? You not hear me? Yes. Oh, okay. Anyway, so I'm the host of Star Wars: The High Republic show on StarWars.com. You can watch all those episodes and get caught up. If you're reading there, it is spoiler heavy, so make sure that you are in whatever phase we are in. New episode coming very, very soon. I'm also hosting on September 11th at 6 p.m. I'm hosting the Concept Art Association Awards as the Concept Art Awards as part of the Lightbox Expo. It's going to be really nice. We're going to be honoring Andy Park and lots of really cool concept artists. There's even a fan art category, and it's just really, really cool. So I'm going to be hosting that, and you guys should watch it because I'm hosting with Aldous Hodge, and he's cool and taller than me, but still younger than me. And I hope that everybody is having a great week and being nice and doing cool stuff with your friends or safely, whatever, you know. I like you. Follow me on the internet. I say weird stuff and post cute pictures. Bye.
Yeah, you do. Next.
Oh, I guess that's me. Hey, Tanya, Cypher Tier, everywhere on the internets. And because DJ forgot, tomorrow, same exact time, except on the D&D channels, come over to Black Dice Society if you like a bit of horror with your D&D. DJ plays Desmond, our human lycanthrope ranger, a little bit of the beast.
Love a ranger.
And I am Ben, your drow Dumpier blood hunter. Also with a bit of a...
Hunting is ranging. I love this too.
I love that. All right. Do we get anything else?
Yes. D&D Beyond Friday, I'm running the Infernal Goose Game Epic. And that is 2 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Central. And it's, oh God, there's like 7 people playing now. Critical Bard, Todd Stashwick, Sage Ryan, and I'm forgetting half the cast. I am Chubby Bunny, etc. I'll tweet about it. Go follow me on Twitter.
I was going to say, that's why you need to follow her on Twitter if you're not already.
Like it really is 7 people, so help me.
All right. Anything else? I've lost track now.
I just want to throw a thing out there. Have you done yourself yet?
I have not, no.
Then I'm going to wait for you to do what you do.
All right, I will
If you're in California, you need to vote.
Ooh.
Oh, sure. Good PSA.
If you're in California, you need to vote. You haven't, like,
Yes,
they already
please.
sent you a ballot, so please vote, put it in the mail. The postage is paid. You don't even have to do a whole thing. Just go put it in the mailbox, put the little stick up, go boop.
Boop. That's it. Vote. I have been and still am Eugenio. I'm your storyteller, DM Jazzy Hands. You can find me anywhere on the internet at most places on the internet at DM Jazzy Hands. What are we doing? I stream on my channel on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We're playing through Mass Effect. We are wrapping up Mass Effect 2 DLC tomorrow. Very exciting. Here every Wednesday. We got a couple of weeks off for the D&D podcast that I'm the DM and producer for called The Last Refuge. But just yesterday we recorded our 200th episode. It was epic and super fun and completely wild. So that's dropping in a couple of weeks on a Wednesday. So check out that feed. And that's what I have got so far. I'm gonna let DJ say what he wants to say, and then we are gonna go on a raid. So don't go anywhere. We'll tell you about it in a moment.
I'm just kind of piggybacking on what Christina said. If you are here right now and you are watching this show, you are an amazing person. You are worthy. You are perfect, just as you are. That's all.
I love the messages at the end of every episode. I like them a lot, and I like you all a lot, and I like all of you who came and watched. I appreciate you so much for being here. Take care of yourselves. We will see you next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, midnight BST here at twitch.tv/Cypher of Tier for episode 4 of Into the Motherlands. In the meantime, we are going to raid Pleasantly Twisted, brilliant artist and streamer. In fact, did the character art that you see below each of our images here on this channel. We'll go hang out with Pleasantly Twisted. Be good, show some love, and we will see you next week. In the meantime, please stay safe, please stay healthy, and happy gaming, y'all. See you around.